Hey everybody, welcome to another video episode. What a hell of a way, Dad. It's your dad, Francis, here again. Welcome to a new angle of the inside of my office. I've got a little bit of construction that's going to be happening in here. My wife and kid were out of town last week, and that was my big opportunity to clean a lot of things. I don't know what it is about nobody's home, so I want to start cleaning things. I think it's because I know nobody's going to get anything out, which I'm not like a clean freak. I'm not a anti-clutter person, but you know, sometimes when you have a kid, and you know that no matter what you do, everything's gonna get taken back out again, you have that like, I don't want to put everything back away. But so they were out of town. At least my office, which I can't blame a mess in my office on anybody but myself. So this was all mine. I rotated the desk. One thing I have to do, I have to put a new window in. Because when I built this, I cheaped out and put a really cheap window in. That really is not good for anything. You can't put like what I need is like an air conditioner in here. Very locked in here. There's no ventilation or anything like that. So I need a bigger window that I can put an air conditioner in and get some ventilation, get some heat and AC going. Because in the summer, that's just this wall is all sun all during the summer. So when it's like 110 degrees outside, it's 115 in here. So I need something. I need something that'll rotate all that stuff out. And I have a portable air conditioner, which is great for like small areas, but like I don't know. The other thing I've also thought about putting tinfoil on the outside of the whole thing, but like I don't know, that kind of like it's hard to say like no, this is an energy saving thing and not an alien mind probe thing. So I haven't gotten around to that. But construction coming in here. And I gotta tell you, if I had the opportunity, and I'm not going to go through and show you every flaw that's in here, but I would love to rip all the drywall out of here and redo the whole thing. Redo the drywall, redo the electrical, because I was dumb and I didn't put the light switch near the door, which is where you're supposed to put those things. I put it over here. I thought, oh, this is where my desk is going to be. This is where I want to control the lights. It's not. You want to be able to turn lights on as soon as you walk into a door. Turns out the people who have been doing this for, 100 years kind of know what they're talking about. So a lot of construction coming to that. So not that that's going to matter to you. You're always going to see my shitty office and this single one shot and not a whole lot of good graphics and a $50 camera I bought off of Amazon. It's the content that matters. The content's also not all that great, but it's here. The internet's full of worse things than this, so it's okay. We're gonna go ahead and keep doing this. All right. So recently, I've been trying to kind of expand my cultural. I don't know how best to explain it. Like I turned 42 recently, so I realized that I am a middle-aged white dude, and that there's a concern that much like your regular muscles, your cultural muscle will atrophy as well if you're not maintaining and keeping up with it, and not being that person that's always just like, I don't understand what's going on here because I'm old and things made more sense when I was a kid. Look, things did make sense before I was a kid, but that has nothing to do with me being old. That has everything to do with 9/11 and everything that kind of happened afterwards. So I don't have I don't want to become a person that is angry about the way that the kids are doing things. So I bring this all up because I recently went and watched Minecraft, the movie, which I thought was a perfectly fine movie. I've seen it, and when you have a kid, you find yourself watching more and more movies that kind of suck, but I can at least tell you that these days, kids' movies are a little bit better for everyone. For adults, for kids, it's not that bad. So I went and saw Minecraft. My daughter was really wanting to go see Minecraft. She loves playing the game. She loves watching videos. There's a British rapper that raps about Minecraft that she's really into. I don't know. I don't get it, and that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and tell her that what she's listening to is crap. I listened to Insane Clown Posse when I was a kid. She is still doing way better than I am. Now, I wasn't listening to Insane Clown Posse when I was 9, but and hopefully I should be able to keep her away from the dark carnival. But I can't say that like the movies and TV shows and things that I consumed when I was a kid was like any better than what's coming out now. So I went and watched Minecraft. I got to tell you, Minecraft was a lot of fun to go to. We went on the day that it opened. We went at like 4:30 or something. Went to see it in IMAX, paid the extra money for the IMAX, which is not that impressive. Like, IMAX, I don't think I ever, like, maybe I've seen movies in IMAX, maybe I haven't. I don't know. I don't go to movies very often. I do know that the last couple of times that I've taken my daughter to the movie, we've not watched things in IMAX. We watched it in IMAX. I don't know. It's the bigger screen, slightly curved, I guess. So it's got Jack Black. It's got Jason Momoa. It's got the gal who played Tasty in Orange Is the New Black. It's fine. It's a fun movie. The thing, though, that really was great about the movie was that it was full of 13-year-olds, and they were rowdy as fuck. And I have a lot of appreciation for that. And I've seen a lot of people write these reviews about Minecraft, and they're always people my age, right? They're always these like very serious movie critics and very serious, and they don't like. I don't remember who, because I've seen a lot of takes on the Minecraft movie from people who went to see it because they felt it was their job to go see this movie, which I don't understand. Being critical of a movie on the basis of this is my job and not this is some kind of form of entertainment. Because I remember the first time I ever watched Rocky Horror Picture Show was at like 3 p.m. on like a Tuesday by myself. I rented the DVD. I had no idea. People loved it. They always talked about it. They're like, you gotta watch this movie. So I watched Rocky Horror Picture Show. I was very confused. I didn't understand why anybody liked this movie. And then because nobody told me like there's a whole, party aspect to it, right? There's things you're supposed to say back to the screen. There's throwing rice and toast and calling people sluts and all this stuff. So it's fun, right? Minecraft kind of had that same thing, where it wasn't really that there's a script to Rocky Horror, right? Because it's been around for so long. But Minecraft is just all these kids cheering and throwing popcorn at each other and having a great time. The music, they've got Private Idaho in it by the B-52s, which I was very excited about. I love that song. And, overall, it's a fine movie. It doesn't stick around too long. I just, I feel like people watch media that's meant for children. And, I'm not going to tell you that you can't criticize media that's meant for kids. Somebody needs to, right? There's a lot of shitty media out there for kids. There's obviously a lot of YouTube shows and TV shows that are just god-awful. But to walk into something like Minecraft, something that is meant for the young teens, the preteens, my 9-year-old daughter, the way they all cheered and got so excited when the chicken jockey came on, I cannot even tell you. I don't even know. I played Minecraft when it first came out. I paid $10 to notch 15 years ago. No idea what any of the new stuff is. Chicken jockey, no idea what that stuff is. My daughter's kind of explaining it to me while we're going along. It's just, it's Minecraft. They're just mobs. But they get very excited about it. Get excited about that. Get excited about seeing axolotls. And it was just a really fun experience. I was probably the oldest person there. There were a couple of other dads that were there. Somebody had to kind of keep an eye on the horde of children. But my daughter and I were all the way up in the back. She was having a good time with all the other kids. She was cheering and everything. And I like that. It was a lot of fun to see everybody kind of jump up and want to be a big part of this movie. So yeah, I'm not going to say that if you go see Minecraft, you're going to have a great time now, because this was 2 weeks ago that my daughter and I went to see it. And I don't know if the movie theater experience is going to be the same. It's probably now going to be filled with kids who have seen it 3 or 4 times and are going back and repeating everything and shouting the lines out at the screen, which also fine. It's a Minecraft movie. It's not something that you're not missing anything, right? It's not we need to sit in quiet contemplation as Jack Black does weird, jump kicks and makes strange faces at all of us. None of that's necessary. You're not missing anything out. So I don't know. I feel sometimes maybe the rowdiness of the theater is something that other people can't get into. I don't know. I'm just saying that when I went to see it, these days, now I read the reviews and I see people getting upset about it or saying that it's a bad movie or this, that, and the other thing. It's it's for 12-year-olds, man. It's a movie for 12-year-olds, and it's not a bad movie for 12-year-olds. But also, it's not something that really requires you to do a lot of heavy thinking about it. So I don't know. Maybe people who are really big into Letterboxd and Criterion collections can tell me why, like, it was a bad movie on a technical level. Sure, whatever. I'm just saying that I didn't hate going to see it. It's an experience that's always going to kind of stick with me because, again, I haven't been in a situation like that where we've seen something, or I've been to a theater that's been like that excited and that full of life. Everybody sits and they just are quiet. The other movie experience I had, we have a little hole-in-the-wall theater, like a bar theater. Somebody bought a bar space and they put a theater into it, and they had VHS night, where it costs one VHS to get in, and they take pictures of all the VHSs, and you get to vote on what you're going to watch. And everybody, so it starts at like 7. They go through, they take photos, they show you everything, and you get to vote for what you have. I brought in an old Rocky and Bullwinkle VHS. I'm a big fan of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Rocky and Bullwinkle kind of is like one of those first cartoons, one of those very early cartoons that like, hey, this is a show for kids, but we're going to make adult jokes too. Like the one that I remember very vividly that I watched over and over was the one where Bullwinkle enters a yacht race. He's got like this little toy yacht in the lake, and they all put him into the lake, and his just immediately sinks. And they're like, "Oh, that sucks, we lost." But it comes back up, and it's completely cleaned off, and it's full of rubies. And they pick it up, and they're like, "Oh, well, who does this belong to?" And it turns out it belongs to Omar Khayyam. And so the joke is, this is the ruby yacht of Omar Khayyam. And if you are a semi-well-read individual, or at least somebody who knows the classic text, The Ruby Yacht of Omar Khayyam is a book that's been around for centuries. So, those little things. So, Rocky and Bullwinkle, I brought that. But what ended up winning was Cecil B. Demented, a John Waters movie that I had never even heard of. It's got Stephen Dorff, it's got Ricky Lake, it's got Maggie Gyllenhaal. It's got a really good stuff in there, and it's a John Waters movie, so it's kind of weird. It's a little low budget, and it's a lot of fun. Something that I never would have like picked up and watched on my own. But in this theater environment where, everybody's having some beers, it's a small theater. Like there's like 50 seats in this whole thing. So this theater, not only does it cater to people who want to watch, these kind of more art house movies, but I was worried. Like I was showing up. Like, look, I have a thing where it's my anxiety has many forms, but one of them is it's difficult for me step foot inside of some place that I can't see the inside of. So I don't know what I'm getting into when I walk in there. And that was the same about this theater. So it was very like, I finally screwed up the courage to walk in and had a good time. So, but things like that, it helps that that's something that's like catered to me, a middle-aged millennial, because everybody else there was a middle-aged millennial too. So that worked out for me. But I had a lot of fun there too. Kind of increasing my culture, getting to know and learn new movies and things that like I myself probably wouldn't go out of my way. I would have never been like on my own, like, yeah, I'll watch Cecil B. Demented. But it was voted on, and I didn't want to, like, the thing that I wouldn't have left from many of the movies. Somebody brought the 1980 Akira English dub, maybe. I don't like Akira. I don't get it. It's fine. Maybe I would have stuck around because there is beer and popcorn. But, I kind of made it a point to myself to be like, look, I'm not going to leave no matter what movie ends up winning. And I'm glad that something like that won because it was a great movie. It was a lot of fun. And again, I never would have actually done that on my own. So looking forward to maybe doing more. That theater always does. Every night has some kind of like art house thing. But you can also rent it out, which is interesting. So I was thinking, 2027 is going to be the 30-year anniversary release of Starship Troopers. So, all right, this week on the podcast, stuff that's going to be coming out, we have a Hey Dad, asking Dad's question for me and Greg. Greg records over at the Brigham Young Money podcast. So he comes over. He's been on. He's talked dad stuff with me a few times. Nate had some family emergency stuff going on the last couple of weeks, so I've been finding people to fill in. Let's see. We released a an episode on the Armed Forces Brewing Company. If you remember that whole saga, I've covered it a few times in the last couple of years. Shout out to this podcast for lasting longer than the Armed Forces Brewing Company. We've lasted longer than a lot of things. We've lasted longer than the Confederacy. That's 4 years. We're on like year 9 here. So shout out to us. Somehow we managed to keep it together longer than Jefferson Davis did. I think what helps is that we're not pro-slavery. So Armed Forces Brewing Company went out of business because of woke. At least that's what they say. It turns out what it really is just terrible management of money, shitty beer, hiring the worst person in the world to be your brand ambassador, Mikuya or Robert O'Neill, the guy who claims that he killed Osama bin Laden and has not let that one go. Like him supposedly, and him shooting Osama bin Laden's a big asterisk next to it, but it's like he's like the high school quarterback who threw that one good throw to win the game, and now he's 37 and still talking about it. That's kind of what the same thing there. So the company ends up collapsing. I talked to Dave Infante, who is a reporter. He's a drinks reporter, which and if you go look at the episode on Libsyn or on Patreon, wherever you listen to your podcast, you'll get a link to the article. But it's a very interesting process that Armed Forces Brewing Company went through to get to its own collapse. And I think a lot of it is because trying to in the year of our Lord 2025, still trying to do vet bro stuff. Like when the wars ended, like the wars that we fought ended. Yes, there's still stupid wars happening all the time, but the wars we fought ended, and people have not really gotten over that. Not really come to grips with the time that they spent there and the things that they did. And as I say, everybody has to figure that out for themselves. Some people start podcasts and it becomes a therapy session. Some people start racism brewing companies, to each their own. So that's out. The episode with Greg. I have another Deadliest Warrior coming out. This one's going to be Jesse James versus Al Capone. I was really trying hard to find somebody in Chicago, but I just don't have that many connections to find podcasters in Chicago. So, but I do have another fellow podcaster from Worst Possible Worlds. He's going to come on and we're going to talk about that. What else do I have? I don't know. I've been trying to think of doing some more music episodes. Our editor, our main podcast editor, is a very heavily music guy, as is Nate. The problem is I'm not. And when the two of them talk, they can go down some rabbit holes that I have never even gone down. They'll talk about music and bands that I've never heard of. And I remember telling my wife that I'm like, I don't know. I don't really have that background. I don't have that, enjoyment in music. I like music, but that's not what I get into. And she's like, no, they need somebody like you who's just a guy. So I guess there's a big ass fly in here. I need to bring my cats in here to go hunt it down. Hold on a minute. All right, I'm not going to keep all that in, but that was fucking embarrassing for the fly. Very embarrassing. Door wide open. Couldn't even get out the door. All right. What else do I have? So we've got that episode coming. I'm sure we're going to talk about some more news stuff. Since Pete Hegseth seems to have completely lost his goddamn mind, 100%. J.D. Vance killed the Pope. There's a lot going on. So we definitely have to get a news episode together. And finally, if you are a St. Louisan, if you're in the general area, I have some events that are coming up. We have the Sulphur Ballroom on Saturday, which is a bar that is down South City next to Bevo Mill. And it's their 15-year anniversary. And so they're having like an outdoor event, and they've got vendors and everything. So we're going to be there. And then also we'll be at Tim's Chrome Bar, which is kind of in the same general area, on the 3rd of May. It's a microbus, people have classic car shows. This one's a van show, so people are bringing like their duded up micro vans and stuff like that. I'm sure will be a good time, but we are doing a lot more in-person events. Obviously, we still have the online store at whatahellofawaytodad.com where you can buy things, but in person, that's where like a lot of the handmade stuff is up for sale. Just because it's easier to sell something in person than it is to list it and photograph it and ship it. So a lot of it comes down to I am lazy, but also I have a full-time job and I'm a dad. So, sometimes I don't have that time to really put towards my website, at least not as much as I would like. So there's there's some things that we have going on. Going to Vegas in a couple of weeks, do some work stuff in Vegas. I always like going to Las Vegas. Not because I'm a big gambler. I don't gamble at all. I've always found it to be a complete waste of money. But I do like a place that is Las Vegas used to be fully hedonistic, right? And it really isn't anymore. But I do appreciate a place where you can that's just full of people who aren't from there, just wandering around. And also everybody is high constantly. People are walking around with either a huge joint in their hands that they just bought at the store they were in, or a 12-pack of beer that they're just carrying around in the 90-degree heat. Respect to both of them. So I really love it. One of my favorite things to do is when I'm there for business, I get off work, I pop a high dosage edible, and then I just kind of wander around at night when it gets nice and cool. Wander around until I find a place that I want to eat. I found a really nice Irish pub where they served me shepherd's pie in a bucket, a little tiny bucket. And I found a really nice poke place too one time. So Las Vegas is coming up, and then it's nice. I'm gonna have a 4-day weekend after that. I don't know. We got a lot of things going on. We're looking at buying a van. I'm apparently at that point in my life where I need a van. I need a van because I need to put all of my stuff into a vehicle that I can, take. My stuff, the stuff that we sell. I need to be able to put it into a vehicle of some kind so that I can go. Because what I have right now, I have a hatchback Hyundai Elantra, which is great. I can fit everything into it, but I can't fit people into it. And we have two cars, but one car is the Nissan Leaf, which is a 2015 all-electric and only gets about 70 miles per charge. And when you're going far away, or when you've got something that's, an hour drive away, you can't do that in that electric car. So the van we're looking at is a hybrid. It's a plug-in electric and gas car. That used to be a rental. All the rental companies are selling off their electric fleets, which is great because, and if you're into this, if you're looking for something like this, the tax credit still counts for these. So there's still a $4,000 tax credit that you're going to get to buying one of these, because Hertz and Budget and Enterprise Rental Car doesn't do that. So you can do it once per car, and the rental places don't do that tax incentive, so you get it. So that's whatever car you're buying, when you're looking for those in particular, and the Chrysler Pacifica is the only one that's a plug-in hybrid van. So you get whatever, you look at the price, all right, knock $4,000 off, and then probably another $2,000 for the car that we're going to give them, and you get a pretty decent price. A lot of them are selling for $20,000, and then you knock off $6,000 from there. $14,000 for a van is not bad, especially a used van with maybe 70,000 miles on it. So we're looking forward to that. Looking forward to being a van guy and living that middle-aged van life, just buying the most boring fucking car. And I tell you, here's another problem. Here's another fucking thing that I have going on. I hate that car colors are so boring. It's white, off-white, or black. If you're lucky, you can find a dusky red. That's about it. The Leaf that we got is this really bright robin egg blue, which I love because you just don't see cars like that. I don't know what it is about American car manufacturers or the American consumer in general who's just no, I don't want a car that's orange or green. Because let me tell you something, I do. I want that shit. But much all the houses that get flipped, everything's gray and white on the inside because, the idea is we want to make it as boring as possible so that this has mass appeal. And the problem is when you look for mass appeal, you actually appeal to nobody. So whatever. But everybody, nobody's got an option. You can either buy the white truck or the black truck, and that's it. Those are your two choices. So I don't know. But anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the video. I'm hoping to put this out on the audio as well. I know some people like to. I actually had somebody say to me that they like that I do the video episodes because they want to see me talk while they listen to me, which I understand. I'm a big fan of making sure that I can see people's mouths when they talk because I can't hear very well. But the back and forth between hearing and reading lips works out. So more power to you guys. However you want to consume media, certainly trying to give it to you in those different ways. But thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and we will talk to you next week.